SCOTUS ruling essentially saying, down at the bottom, children born in the United States to parents unlawfully or temporarily present are, quote-unquote, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause. Citizenship Clause must be understood in light of its historical context from the English common law to the widespread condemnation of the court's decision in Dred Scott versus Sanford. I don't know what Dred Scott versus Sanford is, but the thing they're talking about, this guy posted here, is by virtue of natural law and national law, a citizen of the United States. This will not, of course, they say, believing that everyone after them will be just as rational as they are, of course, obviously, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, and who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of person. So it is obvious that it should be excluding from birthright citizenship anyone who's a foreigner, anyone who is an alien, and anyone who belongs to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States. They do not get birthright citizenship, which is what was written back in like 1860 something. It settles the great question of citizenship and removes all doubt as to what persons are or are not citizens of the United States. This has long been a great desideratum in the jurisprudence and legislation of this country. And somebody asked, what document is this that you're citing? And he says, this document is a page from the Congressional Globe, the official record of U.S. congressional debates at the time, specifically from the 39th Congress, first session, May 30th, 1866, page 2890. And in addition to this, the guy that wrote that was apparently the author of the 14th Amendment. The author of the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment, Senator Jacob Howard, literally explained during the debates that it would obviously not apply to illegal aliens or foreigners not allegiant to the United States. It was for the children of former slaves. And they put the same exact excerpt here that we just read from the congressional record, saying, every person born within the limits of the United States and subject to their jurisdiction is by virtue of natural law and national law a citizen of the United States. This will not, of course, include persons born in the U.S. who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of persons. Author of the Citizenship Clause for the 14th Amendment, literally stating it is not to be used for foreigners or aliens, and our Supreme Court just ruled against the original use of this, as well as against every American that exists right now. Well, that's fucking great. How convenient that that part got left out. Very convenient! This was so well-intentioned and it's now used by Marxists and traitors. Yeah, it was well-intentioned. It had a purpose. Breaking, Justice Clarence Thomas pens a scathing dissent after the Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship. Apparently, he wrote like 90-something pages, but they posted a short script here. Thomas accuses the majority of repurposing the 14th Amendment to protect its own set of preferred rights that the Reconstruction Congress never contemplated and that cannot find support in its text. Today, the court does so again by recognizing a constitutional right to citizenship for the children of all foreign-birth tourists and illegal aliens. I'm not sure that today's opinion will stand the test of time. The Citizenship Clause added greatly to the dignity and glory of American citizenship. Today's opinion devalues that citizenship. I respectfully dissent. If he's completely right, if any 9-month pregnant foreigner can waddle across the border and shit out a child and that child is de facto an American, being an American means nothing. And if being an American means nothing, America as a country means nothing. And if America as a country means nothing, then we are the economic zone for looting by foreigners. The Supreme Court just guaranteed that the only two options left are the complete destruction of the United States or a full-blown civil war to restore a rational and responsible government that exists to protect the citizens. I mean, again, I wasn't very hopeful for any other kind of ruling besides this one, but it's still just like, Jesus fuck, man. Jesus fuck. Christian Haynes with another fucking banger of a post, of course. He says, with the Supreme Court upholding the principle that a pregnant Nicaraguan can illegally cross the border, have a baby in El Paso, and that child is legally considered just as American as you or me, the only viable option left to us is to completely close our borders and end all immigration to the United States. Stop issuing visas to Chinese spies to fly to America, give birth to paperwork Americans, and then fly back home to be indoctrinated by the CCP into becoming Manchurian candidates. Stop granting asylum or refugee claims, which Trump is already thankfully doing. Stop letting companies mass import H-1Bs from India. Stop allowing any pregnant women from entering the country at all. Ban all immigration from Africa, the Middle East, South Asia, and Latin America. Double ICE's budget, and then double it again. Quadruple the number of ICE agents, and do not allow for any sob stories from illegals or insane cases of main character syndrome from mentally ill libtards to derail the mission of deporting every single illegal from the country. We have to do all of this because the Supreme Court has closed off the only other normal path to us having a country. There's no alternative. If the entire world can become an American by virtue of simply setting foot on American soil and having a baby, then we have to physically prevent the entire world from ever being able to set foot on American soil ever again, at least until this ruling gets overturned. And it's unfortunate that this is kind of like the rock in a hard place we have been put in, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. And it's, again, like, super unfortunate, because it would have been nice to have, like, a short memorandum, fix our immigration system, and then go back to being like, all right, we'll just steal your giant brain people. You know, that would have been nice. It's not going to happen. We can't even achieve the deportation rates of the Obama era. It's getting very difficult to have hope in the system that we all know works against us. You agree this is by design? Commies are trying to destroy the country. The Yuri guy warned us all. Unfortunately, not many people wanted to listen. I have a little excerpt from Vox Day as well. He said, this is an absurd and pernicious anti-American ruling by the Supreme Court in defense of geography-based citizenship. The Supreme Court slapped down President Donald Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship in a major blow to the administration's radical vision for the composition of the country. In a landmark 6-3 decision, the justices halted the president's attempt to end birthright citizenship, calling it blatantly unconstitutional and out of bounds, despite the fact that the guy who wrote the amendment agrees with the president. Let's just forget about that, I guess. The constitutional guarantee was enshrined by the 14th Amendment and ratified in 1868 to guarantee citizenship to freed slaves, but has since applied to every person born on U.S. soil or its territory. And I think we would need to find when exactly this started to probably find the starting point of subversion of our nation. Whenever it first started applying to non-freed slaves and to just foreigners coming to the U.S. despite what the writer of the amendment said, that would have been the beginning of the treasonous people infiltrating our country. Even if it couldn't have been attributed to any kind of like Marxism, communism back then, it still would have been people who de facto hated what America was at that time period. It impacts an estimated 150,000 children born in the U.S. annually to non-citizens. The ruling is a major defeat for Trump and comes as the High Court has ruled against him in a handful of major cases, including invalidating his sweeping tariff regime and blocking his effort to fire Lisa Cook from the Fed's Board of Governors. As one diehard liberal recently pointed out, the use of liberal democratic institutions to defend the indefensible and defeat the will of the people is only going to guarantee the eventual destruction of those institutions. There will not be any independent judiciary in the governments that replace the corrupt governments of the West when they fall. Because, as with so many Enlightenment concepts, their supposed value is net negative to society. And then he posts the President Bukake guy here saying, if you don't impeach the corrupt judges, you cannot fix the country. They will form a cartel and block all reforms protecting the systemic corruption that put them in their seats. And we see this pretty fucking frequently with a lot of different rulings. We have so many judges that disrupt the will of the people and what needs to be done for our country, and we just can't do anything about it. The chains are being forged when the people finally wake up. When the average normie finally wakes up, it will be far too fucking late. We will already be like decades into a communist ruling. According to the Wayback Machine, the NPR article announcing Justice Alito's retirement was supposed to be published on Friday. And this is a thing that says June 30th, 2026, Justice Samuel Alito, who wrote the opinion overturning Roe v. Wade, retired. Strange and weird. And it says, Justice Samuel Alito, seen here in April 2021, retired Friday. Well, that's weird. That's strange. NPR mistakenly published an article reporting the retirement of Justice Samuel Alito. No such announcement has been made by Justice Alito or the court. Here's the full article announcing Justice Samuel Alito's retirement, which NPR quickly retracted. And it starts out, Justice Samuel Alito, who wrote the Supreme Court's opinion reversing Roe v. Wade, is retiring, the court announced Tuesday. Alito was nominated to the court in 2005 by President George W. Bush to fill the seat vacated by Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. In the history of the Supreme Court, the names of just a few justices are linked with a single very famous or infamous decision. Chief Justice John Marshall for his groundbreaking decision in 1803, declaring that courts have the power to strike down laws that violate the Constitution. Chief Justice Roger Taney for his infamous decision in the Dred Scott case, declaring that no African American, enslaved or free, could be a citizen of the United States, a decision that led in part to the Civil War. Chief Justice Earl Warren for his 1954 decision declaring racial segregation in public schools to be unconstitutional. And in our own times, Alito's name is indelibly linked with the court's opinion, overturning a half-century's worth of decisions declaring that women have a right to abortion. Well, that's very weird. What a weird entry to an article that isn't real? Question mark? How strange. And then I saw this tweet where someone said, did Justice Alito canary trap the Dobbs v. Jackson leaker? Because we had the decision for that leaked at the time, and that's why they wrapped the Supreme Court in fencing, because they anticipated rioting. And that's actually very interesting, and it's also something that I've had to do to find people who are quite backstabby, unfortunately. When you tell things to people, when you canary trap people, canary trapping is you're not lying, you're just changing details a little bit of an actual thing that happened in order to catch someone who might be leaking those details to other people, or they're acting maliciously and leaking them themselves. It is an incredible indictment of like content creation in general that you have to act this way, but that is the unfortunate reality. And I feel like if this is actually the case, if Justice Alito managed to canary trap whoever was leaking Supreme Court stuff previously, that would be fan-fucking-tastic. I would absolutely love to know. It's been like 2 years, that's a long trap. Ah, well, you see, leakers are only interested in specific things, right? Like, you could leak certain stuff to them and they not report it because they don't care. It has to be something that they're going to care about, right? So a canary trap might work in 24 hours, it might take 2 weeks, it might take 2 months, it might take 2 years. It just depends on what is being leaked and the details that are being shared. And I've had this happen to me multiple times, which is why I started canary trapping pretty much everyone I talk to. If I tell you a story and I see that story repeated somewhere else anonymously, I know where it fucking came from. I'm not a retard. Tesla did this by sending the same email to every employee, except each employee got a unique email with a misspelled character. It's also why I just don't really fucking talk to people. Because, like, I don't want to have to employ the canary trap whenever I talk about something. I want to just be a normal fucking person. But that's impossible once you become a public figure. I mean, I guess technically it could be kind of cool, but it's in reality very depressing and exhausting. Because it's like when you see that in the wild and you're just like, oh, that was someone I considered a close friend and now I know it's them saying shit about me online. That's crazy. That's nuts. Wow, how do I contend with this mentally? You know? Asmongold says streaming literally gives you ADHD because it scrambles your brain. I haven't even seen the clip yet, and he's just completely fucking correct.
I have ADHD, but what I do think that I have is that I'm a streamer. And I think that streaming, this is going to sound crazy, but I do think that streaming creates ADHD. Streaming gives you ADHD because you have to train your brain to recalibrate so many times, so fast, that it just creates a frenetic mental cycle, and it's hard for you to focus on like one thing anymore, right?
And it's like, I already had a bad memory before becoming a streamer, and like, you guys are used to it where like, you'll super chat something or you'll say something in chat and I'll respond to it and we'll talk about it, and then someone else later, like way after the conversation is over, they'll have a super chat that's relating to that conversation and I'll be like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what this is in response to, because our conversation has ended. It's already out of my brain. It's gone. And I've said many times, like, as soon as I say something on stream, I don't remember that I've said it. like half the time it comes out of my mouth and then it's gone. Like, it's vapor. It no longer exists, because like I can't hold on to all of that information and process all of the censorship nets I need to not get banned, read 3 different chats, put more prominence on the people who are obviously sending chats with monetary value, right? Like they should get priority, as it were. Plus, I have to pay attention to any kind of, like, things going wrong, my background music constantly being off. Is there an issue with my audio? Is there an issue with my stream? Am I red squaring? Do I have something open that shouldn't be open that's causing issues? I have, like, 9,000 plus fucking tabs open in my stream browser. You know, I have to pay attention to mod chat in case something blows up. I have, like, real life shit going on, so I have to pay attention to, like, my phone sometimes. And so it's like, your brain is moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, trying to do, like, 2,000 things at once. And without offloading and completely obliterating some of those things, you just would not be able to function. I've seen a couple of tweets about this. Somebody said, "What am I seeing about the game being shut down? Please tell me this is all rumors. Do I need to screen record my cards? Like, big question marks." And I was like, what fucking game are they talking about? Thankfully, this person asked for context, and someone else said, "This should be about love in deep space. In short, players have a lot of built-up resentment for the game because they feel the older love interests haven't had enough content made for them. The final straw was releasing a new love interest, which the reason female gooners were upset about this love interest was because the love interest looked too gay. He looked like a gay man, and they were like, I can't goon to this. Make him look straight again." Standard review bombing and crash outs ensued. And I was like, that's crazy. If they're actually managing somehow to, like, get the game into a position of maybe being shut down. What I didn't know is that apparently review bombing in China, since the Chinese government has a hand in, like, literally everything the Chinese do, if you review bomb something and it goes below a, like, certain rating threshold, the government will review, like, its right to exist or some shit. And so apparently Love in Deep Space was review bombed so fucking hard that it potentially triggered that kind of review thing. I don't know if that's true. I'm just reading Twitter people expressing this is what's happening, and I don't play Love in Deep Space, though maybe I should. And then we had this, a letter to all players. Dear Miss Hunters, we sincerely apologize for reaching out once again. Over the past several days, our team has been closely following your conversations and feedback across all platforms. For the issues that have surfaced since the announcement of version 6.0 and the frustration these have caused our community, we want to clearly state, we are sorry. As we've expressed before, our vision for Love in Deep Space has always been to build a world that grows alongside you, one that offers a richer, deeper sense of companionship over time. As various issues have arisen in recent days, we have moved quickly to make the necessary adjustments. After reflecting on recent events, we recognize that we moved forward with the introduction of Valco before we were truly ready. In doing so, we let down the players who have supported us from the start, and we also fell short of delivering the experience that players anticipating Valco deserved. After extensive internal discussions, we have decided to make the following changes. 1, we have decided to cancel both of the launch and any further development of the new love interest. We also commit that no additional love interest will be introduced in future content plans. 2, all other in-game systems and features originally scheduled for version 6.0, including Home 2.0 and AR Photo Booth, as well as the limited-time selectable 5-star memory rate-up event, will proceed as planned. The outfits, photo poses and scenes, and the Night Hush box? I don't know what that is, sorry. The Night Hush box, the 2nd anniversary 4-star memory selection crate, originally planned as rewards for the Hunt and Link-On event, will instead be sent to all players for free, via in-game mail after the version update. Now, before I even finish reading, female gooners threw so much of a shit fit that not only did they get what they wanted removed from the game, but they're being given extra shit for free, and this company is making further promises to them going forward. I don't care how you feel about female gooners or how you might think they have like a frivolous complaint here. We need to study their tactics and we need to do the exact same thing as them, all right? We need Western companies making apologies like this when they put Marxist propaganda in their video games. We need to make such a fuss over them taking a very pretty character, face scanning them, and turning them into an ugly troglodyte so that they apologize and fucking reverse it. This needs to happen. Yeah, always be chimpin'. Exactly. Always be chimpin'. Even the most hardcore incel has nothing on female gooners. This is what needs to happen. You need to let these companies know you exist because of our fucking money. You get in line or you get destroyed. Become rabid, become ungovernable, become insufferable. You heard about Snowbreak fans going after Love and Deep Space as revenge, but clearly they weren't successful, whereas these harpies damn near removed Snowbreak overnight. Yes, their tactics must be studied. We must be like these women. These women have gotten what they wanted from a CCP fucking game company, bro. That is insanity. That's crazy. If they can get that from a Chinese company, think of what we could do if merely we tried. If we don't use the same tactics they do, it will be just like when the British were destroyed in war because they lined up to a firing line while we used guerrilla tactics. We either use the rules of engagement they set or we fail. Simple as. Very fucking true. Very fucking true. There was that tweet that I made like ages ago about the Sonic the Hedgehog Sega Mia situation. There were a whole bunch of people commenting about how it's hypocritical of me to want to use cancel culture tactics, and it's like, nah, it's not hypocritical at all. I have always been against cancel culture. You people refuse to stop using it, and so now, since you set the rules of engagement, I will use it against you. That's not hypocritical. That is the tactics you wanted. That is the tactics you started. Our side ignoring it and watching people become casualties over and over while doing nothing clearly isn't working. So now we will meet you at the line you have drawn. Congratulations on being held to your standards. We gotta chimp out, chat. It's time for the year of the chimp. Let us go. We hope this can offer some compensation for the disappointment and disruption caused by these adjustments. To our community, once again, we apologize. Because of our actions, the joy you should have found in Lincoln City became a source of distress, and the feelings you hold most dear were hurt. We are deeply sorry for the hurt and disappointment we have caused. Love in Deep Space has always been about sharing love with you and protecting the love we all hold dear. That purpose has never wavered. Every step forward taken by the love interest in Lincoln City from its beginnings to where it stands today has been shaped by your feedback, your passion, and your trust. It is your presence, care, and companionship that give this world its meaning and us the strength and direction to move forward. Over the past 2.5 years, we've shared moments of joy and gratitude, as well as challenges and difficult times. Through every late night devoted to making this world better, it has been the moments you've shared in Lincoln City and the love and passion behind them that have kept us going. We hope to continue walking this road with you, building a world where love can take root, grow, and bloom. I don't think we need to read the rest of this. It's just them saying, like, we love you, our community, blah, blah, blah. I think looking at the way the Love and Deep Space community handled this, as well as looking at the way that the Blue Archive community handles anything that tries to go at their game, including sponsored streamers that have been derogatory towards their community before, I think these are like pillars of what we need to look at and what we need to do whenever Western developers do anything. Sega fucking crossed a line and everybody started digging into everything they've ever done and even found that Sega partnered with fucking Frogan. Sega partnered with Frogan for the release of products and then was willing to cut someone like Mia for literally doing nothing wrong. Wait, what? Yeah, Frogan promoted fucking Sonic products for Sega before. Official, by the way. So it's like, chimping out works, chat. You need to learn, absorb the spirit of the chimp, return to monkey. ICE Boston arrested Richard Gillaney, a criminal illegal alien from the United Kingdom, during targeted operations in Cambridge, Mass. His criminal history includes pending charges for destruction of property over $250, malicious damage, and larceny over $250 by false pretense. Now, I love that they're even getting rid of criminals who have, like, petty crime, but also, It's really funny that rape isn't included in his list of charges. He's an identified member of the transnational criminal organization, the Traveling Conmen Fraud Group. I've literally never even heard of this, but good, get him the fuck out of my country. Delaney entered the US on November 9th, 2022 under the visa waiver program as a tourist and failed to depart as required. Send him and his man tits back to where he came. Get that fucking red coat out of my country. Get him out! Get the fuck out! Identified, and they say these people's real names on here in Texas. They said Hitler had a point about Jews on Sir Caleb Hammer's podcast. They used fake names but gave enough real details for us to find them. Dakota called Jews the most corrupt motherfuckers on earth and blah 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 blah. James Lindsay says the host knows they're blowing up their whole lives. And Paul saying, this is a problem for Caleb because people aren't going to go on his show for financial advice if the end result is their lives being ruined, which has now happened 3 out of the last 4 episodes. Now, I remember Caleb personally ruining that one guy's life because he said the N-word, and so Caleb called his boss and was like, did you know that your employee said the N-word? And that's fucked up, and I already kind of ranted about that. And then this is the second one. What's the third? What's the third one? I haven't heard of the third. What's the third episode? What did they do there? Paul said it's only right-wingers having their lives ruined as well. This never happened to any of the other guests. And then someone else saying, didn't Caleb say he got a guest fired himself? I watched him call the manager. That's part of the problem. He gave people permission when he did that. And someone else saying, are we not accountable for what we say and do? Nobody forced them into the studio, and Lindsay sucks. Why is only one group being held accountable? He's had people openly admit to committing felonies on his show, and not one call was made to anyone. Which is the point that we're making here, right? It's the double standard. We've watched leftists admit they're committing crimes on his show, and everyone's just like, damn, that's fucking crazy. How do they get away with it? And then as soon as Caleb brings on, like, I don't even want to say right-wing, right? Because, like, Jew hatred seems to be a left-wing thing at this point. Everyone on the left is like, yeah, fucking free Palestine, fuck the Jews. So it's like, you don't even know if these people are on the right at this point. But it's like, how come it seems like one set of people has the left go after them and try to ruin their lives, whereas when leftists fuck up, all of us are just like, damn, that's crazy. I don't know. Maybe Caleb was getting tired of everybody saying he was moving to the right wing, and so he wanted to have, like, more horrible right of center people on. I don't know. It's just again sad, right? Like, you can think, hey, that's hateful. Hey, I don't agree with what you're saying. Hey, that's fucked up. But then dedicating time to, like, dox these people to further ruin their lives, that's fucking wild. That's fucking wild. And that's, again, why we need to chimp out. I don't want to defend people who say horrendous stuff like this. But it's like, if you're going to go after people, not just for horrendous stuff like this, but also making jokes, why would you not expect those tactics to be turned against you? Why would you bring out something so absolute and so final and then get angry when people use it against you? How about you just stop and be a normal person? Caleb stopped posting to Rumble a couple of months ago. You think he's picked a political side and has moved toward tribalism? I mean, he's been, for the most part of what I've seen, politically neutral, right? So it's like, maybe these couple of episodes are just them leaning too far into the, everybody was calling us right wing, and so we're gonna show them. I don't know, but I definitely don't like it. And how are people going to come on your show and give you content if they know that their lives could potentially be ruined in this manner by coming on? It doesn't help their financial situation if they get fired from their jobs, even if you personally think they might deserve it. This guy always came across as a raging lefty. What are you even talking about? I don't think he's come across as a raging lefty before, and I've watched a metric fuck ton of his content. Caleb went on Joe Rogan podcast and basically went full both sidism shit. I haven't seen his Joe Rogan appearance, so it's like maybe I'm missing context. Caleb has never been politically neutral. You listen to him when he guest stars on other people's podcasts, he's a massive socialist degenerate. I have literally never watched him go on someone else's podcast. So, like, again, maybe I am missing context. He's always been leftist, but fiscal responsibility is very right-wing, so you're sure people on both sides got the wrong idea about him? I mean, I've never thought that Caleb was right-wing. I just thought he was pretty fucking, like, centrist, for the most part. A chocolate store founded in Austria, Klagenfurt, in 1763, has traditionally sold a product known as a word that I probably can't say on Twitch without great risk. Chocolate with peanuts! Antifa, he spelled it wrong, it's supposed to be Antifa. He corrects it down here, Antifa. Antifa terrorists who will trigger on behalf of minorities to vandalize the store to protest against this act of racism. The owners did not back down. They are now selling an additional variety, word I can't say, left-wing extremist edition. It mimics the left-wing graffiti left on their store with sugar. So Antifa terrorists vandalized the store because they didn't like the name of chocolate with peanuts that they've been selling since 1763. And in response, the store said, all right, bet. And they put out a left-wing extremist violence version of the word I can't say. And you could buy it for €39.80. I don't know if that's expensive or not. Unfathomably based, and we need more companies to do this. More companies to not negotiate with terrorists and instead just mock them. The counter to Ben & Jerry's. Yeah, based? I would buy it if I possibly could. Say we should treat Antifa the way they treat us, but well, they don't run stores or contribute to society, so that's impossible. Unfortunately, true and real. However, you can fight back nominally, because they continuously make these lists of, like, here are businesses that you should support because they're run by women or specifically run by, like, this specific race of people. You can use that as a, they're participating in this commie gobbledygook, so I will not buy their goods. I guess COSA has been repackaged, question mark? The US House has passed the KIDS Act. The bill requires websites with obscene or explicit content to verify users' ages, creates nationwide online child safety standards enforced by the FTC, and gives parents more tools to manage what their children can do online. It also requires companies to protect age verification data and not keep unnecessary personal information. Every time this has been tried, the company has immediately been hacked and everyone's personal information immediately disseminated online. This is not for the children. This is not going to protect the children. They do this for two reasons. One, to prey upon the people who do believe this will actually do anything because they're retarded. And two, to ensure that the people who are like, no, all of this is just subversive commie gobbledygook in order to impose more surveillance on everyone else. They don't care about the children. They care about who they can arrest for wrongthink. And then everyone who sees you say that will just call you a pedophile who doesn't care about the children. And so that encourages less people to, like, stick up about it and say something. And it's like, anyone with any brain cells knows this is not about the children. This is about government control. The bill has now passed the House and moves to the Senate. This guy here, point proven, word I can't say, gonna cry about this, but it's for the greater good. We need to do more in protecting our children. And the government should not have any fucking arm in this. Yes, we need to do more in protecting our children. We being, if you are a parent, you need to parent your fucking kids. You need to know what they're doing, know what they're getting into, know who they're talking to. Be a fucking parent. We already have some kind of control to make sure that children aren't getting into places that they shouldn't be. They still do, because surprise, some of them are crafty. That doesn't mean we need the government to come in and heavy-handed oppress everyone. That means that parents need to pay more attention to their children. Not giving up my privacy for the greater good.
How can this be for the greater good? The greater good.
Yeah, I love how we use the greater good. Fuck off, commie. We have the John Birch Society here saying the KIDS Act is going to create a digital ID infrastructure used to end anonymous free speech online. And they're absolutely fucking right. The man behind the KIDS Act, Representative Frank Pallone, only adheres to the Constitution 22% of the time. Is this someone you trust to make laws regulating anonymous free speech on the internet? Only adheres to the Constitution 22% of the time. These are people who use our Constitution as a cudgel to oppress us and beat us as American citizens. They only care about the Constitution insofar as they can use it against Americans. People who sacrifice freedom for safety will get and deserve neither. I wish we could fucking repeal the Patriot Act, man. That was also fucked up. How about citizenship verification for voting? How about citizenship verification for voting and also no longer allowing foreign nationals to run for any office in our country? That's actually a good point. Holy shit. If you need an ID to use the internet and black people can't get IDs to vote, You leftists want to prevent black people from using the internet? That's not very progressive of you. And then I have an article here. The Kids Act would require age checks to get online. Within the next week, Congress is preparing to vote on the Kids Act, a sprawling package of legislation that seeks to control Americans' web browsing and private messaging. The package includes a revised version of the Kids Online Safety Act, or KOSA, so this is just KOSA by another name, fuck off, combined with a collection of other internet bills, study bills, reporting requirements, and new regulations. Instead of debating any of these proposals on their merits, lawmakers are attempting to move them all at once under an ultra-expedited process. The package of cobbled-together bills is a mess with different age-gating schemes for different services, using different standards. It's a lot of complexity and a lot of legal risk. Faced with that, many companies will conclude that the safest option is restrictive age-checking practices across their entire platforms. Buried inside the Kids Act are provisions that will push online services to verify all users' ages, require government-directed moderation policies for online speech, and even create new rules about private and encrypted communications. While supporters continue to claim this bill protects minors online, its requirement come at the expense of privacy, free expression, and the ability of people of all ages to use the internet without revealing sensitive data. There is not a single person who should believe any politicians give a single fucking shit about protecting children, while anyone implicated in the UK rape gangs is still allowed to sit in a position of power, while anyone in the US has not released any names from the Epstein files. I'm tired of people posturing and being like, oh, I will release the names when this happens. I will release the names before I exit Congress. No, if you gave a single fucking shit, or if you knew anything, you would just say the names without any posturing, without any gloating, without any threatening. You would just fucking do it. Because the posturing just makes you ripe for fucking assassination if you knew anything. So any of these people pretending to actually give any kind of a shit about kids shouldn't even be part of the conversation. We all know they don't give a shit. We all know they just use kids as a shield in order to get personal information from the rest of us. This is not about kids. This is about oppressing you, the adult. I will release the names when I no longer want to receive your money. Yeah, pretty fucking much. It's fine, Kier. They've said most black people haven't even seen a computer before, so it won't affect them or something. I'm tired, boss. Imagine listening to the people who think black people have never seen a PC and are too stupid to get ID. But you're the racist, by the way. You're the racist for telling that person they're wrong.
You know, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know these things.
The Kids Act pressures platforms to check everyone's age. Supporters of KOSA have said that the bill doesn't require age verification. And technically, the KOSA section of the bill does say that KOSA shouldn't be read to require age verification. But if you read the rest of the bill, that disclaimer starts to look hollow. Throughout the KOSA section of the legislation, special protections, controls, messaging settings, and parental tools are required whenever a website or app, quote-unquote, knows or should have known a user is a child, defined in the bill as anyone under 13, or a teen, defined as anyone between 13 and 16 years old. You know what's crazy? Discord was gonna start, like, AI implementation of guessing whether someone's a minor or not, and all of their shit got hacked, and everyone who had ever submitted like a support ticket with their identifying information had all of their information leaked. You know, that was kind of crazy. That was kind of nuts. You know what's also nuts? Around the same time, Roblox, a service for children, a service that allows, you know, like 12 and up to be playing around on it, they said, you know what we should do? We should make this into a dating service. We need Roblox the dating service. That's... The problem is a website operator doesn't need actual knowledge that a user is a minor to get in legal trouble. It applies when a platform knows or should have known a user's age. A low, negligent-styled standard of knowledge. This is kind of how things have already worked, right? Which is why one of my rules in my chats is do not joke about your age. If you make a joke about your age and you do like one of the, you know, ASL, like 13 female Japan, or you do the like I'm 12 and what is this common meme, right? If you do that in a Twitch chat that is marked 18 plus, you get banned by Twitch. And if I didn't ban you from my chat for making that joke, I am now held liable because you made that joke in my chat. So they've already kind of been held to this standard previously. The entire account gets banned until you send in government ID. Yeah, do not joke about your age online anymore. They don't take kindly to that. If an online service gets it wrong, it's going to be up to the courts and regulators to decide after the fact if an online service should have known that a user was 16. To try and avoid liability, services will have to determine which users are teenagers and which are not. Most won't be able to simply trust their users. They'll have to collect more information about age before any lawsuit or government action arises. Some companies may respond by requesting driver's licenses or passports. Others will rely on age estimation systems that attempt to guess users' ages by looking at existing activity or doing facial scans. One universally correct way I have banned minors before is anyone who still uses the XD emote. And then I started getting a lot more South American viewers who use XD, and then it became not so surefire. But if you exclude South America, pretty much everyone who uses XD is under the age of 18. South Americans, why are you like this? Existing estimation systems make mistakes when estimating children's ages correctly, which is a big problem when that is the population COSA is trying to protect. And the systems fail more frequently for people of color, people with disabilities, and trans and non-binary people. Do you guys remember when Facebook tried really clamping down on racism and like anybody who said the N-word got banned and black people were the most affected? I remember.
Oh my goodness, I get banned from Facebook all the time. Not as much as some of my other friends though. So, hey, I have some friends who get automatic like 30-day bans all the time.
The bill's authors seem to know that this is a real problem. On the one hand, the new COSA section says age verification is not required. On the other, it repeatedly imposes obligations that depend on knowing whether a user is under 17. A disclaimer doesn't magically eliminate legal risk, especially for smaller services and startups that can't afford to defend lawsuits or fight regulators. COSA is not the only part of this package that creates age verification pressure. The Safe Bots Act, like COSA, goes back to the standard that if a service knows or should have known that a user is a minor, it can't offer certain chatbot features. The Screen Act requires services that host sexually explicit content to determine whether users are more likely than not under the relevant age limit, before allowing access to certain content. The consequences of this liability will not be limited to minors. If websites and apps are expected to reliably identify teenagers, adults will be asked to prove that they are adults. The result is a less private internet for everyone, which is true and factual. You have some bad news. XD is common throughout multiple furry, roleplay, and other communities older than you, showing you Zuma self, lady. Every time in the past, obviously it hasn't been any time recently because I haven't even been active in my own Discord, but in the past, when I was very active in my Discord, everyone I banned for using XD was a minor. I've had my Discord set as an 18+ Discord for ages because I don't want to ever be subjected to the opinions of a minor. That's a war crime. As like some people try to gotcha me on Twitter where they're just like, oh, why would anyone listen to an OnlyFans whore? You have the 18 symbol in your bio. It's like, yeah, I don't have that because I make porn, because I don't. I have that because I don't want fucking minors interacting with me or my content. Fuck off. The bill does not directly ban those conversations, but it places platforms under huge pressure to create and enforce moderation policies around broad categories of lawful speech. Faced with a legal risk, many services will inevitably choose to remove that speech or restrict those discussions to spaces where they know only adults can participate. We've seen this move before. When legal risk goes up, platforms will take down more speech. This reminds me of a joke someone made years ago about how, like, since all of the OnlyFans whores have started doing softcore camming on Twitch in order to funnel people to their OnlyFans, that regular streamers should just start streaming on cam sites because they're going to be effectively empty. It's like the Skybrowse video in Breaking Elon Musk, AI nannies raising our young, far too many people just giving tablets to their children and ignoring them. Yeah, and it's like an exacerbation of the problem of just sticking your child in front of a TV in generations past, right? Like, they thought the TV was brain rot. Sites or gotcha games. Let's just play those on, like, E for Everyone content channels. Oh, I'm effing on YouTube. I'm effing on YouTube because I'm calling out how shit their fucking policies are. Fuck you, YouTube! Fuck you! Several provisions of the bill create new rules around direct messages, disappearing or ephemeral messages, and AI chat services. As a parent, if I go through my kid's phone and I see them using messaging apps that have disappearing messages, I'm going to take my kid's phone away. Right? Because, like, you shouldn't be using these apps. You have nothing as a child you're discussing with your teenage friends that needs to be deleted unless you're doing something wrong. And if you're doing something wrong, not under my fucking roof, kiddo. Right? Like, what the fuck? Nothing to hide, nothing to fear. It's not even that. It's just like children do not need to be using disappearing messaging. The bill includes language stating that certain COSA requirements should not be construed to override strong encryption, but the protection is incomplete. The carve-out applies to certain features and messaging controls, but doesn't apply to COSA's separate requirement that platforms address a list of harms to minors. The KIDS Act never answers an obvious question. How exactly is a platform supposed to address those activities if they're inside encrypted communications that it can't read? That will create pressure for providers to weaken private communications or limit features on encrypted private services. That approach is especially troubling when it comes to ephemeral messaging. Disappearing messages are not a loophole or a dangerous design trick. They're a useful privacy feature that allows online conversations to function more like an ordinary real-world conversation, which are not preserved forever in a permanent database. I had a friend who was a drug dealer, and so he would like go through burner phones like toilet paper. And so the only way to talk to him was through, oh god, I think it might have been Kick, ? I don't know, some disappearing messages app. And so every time he would message me, I would have no idea what the fuck he was talking about.
What the hell is this spicy
because none of our previous conversation was there. And so like after like 5 or 6 times of having absolutely no idea what the conversation is, replying to him that I have no idea what he's talking about, and then by the time he replies, I still have no idea what he's talking about because there's no context from me asking before, I just gave up and I was like, look man, if you want to keep in touch, maybe stop being a drug dealer, because I can't parse our conversations, man. I have no fucking clue what's going on. I had a friend who was a drug dealer. Average Kirsche out of context convo starter. Yeah, he never did end up getting a real phone, so I don't know what happened to him. Hopefully he's okay and no longer a drug dealer. I guess drug dealer sounds kind of harsh. He was just dealing in weed. House passes kids online safety package despite watchdog pushback. House has passed a sprawling package of kids online safety bills Monday night, marking the first time a version of the landmark COSA made it out of the lower chamber. Don't allow this to happen, man. Contact your senators. Maybe there's a template that can be used somewhere. Maybe ChatGPT can help you write it. I don't know. But send emails to your senators, because this is not about protecting children. This is about getting rid of your freedoms, unfortunately.
And so I don't expect the caucus to have more pro-income tax Democrats. I don't know if you've looked at our votes, but the House caucus does not vote for income taxes. The House caucus does not vote for income taxes.
And that text on the screen said that Democrats voting for an income tax was 144 of them. And then Representative Michael Granger saying here, after 158 House Democrats voted against a bill to prevent New Hampshire from having income taxes, Democrat Ellen Reed came up to make it crystal clear she has never said she's against an income tax.
Have all members present had an opportunity to vote? The House will attend to the state of the vote. 194 in the affirmative, 158 in the negative. The vote fails to hit the 3/5 of membership threshold. What reason does a member rise?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Point of personal privilege.
Okay.
The last comment made from the well was that everyone in this room had declared that they were against an income tax, and I, for one, have never said I'm against an income tax.
Next.
I absolutely love the way that the Democrat politicians are treated in New Hampshire. It's like nobody wants to deal with them. Everyone thinks they're fucking obnoxious, and yet somehow they keep getting elected! Get involved in your local politics for the love of fuck, so that less of these people may harass us. Wow, you showed them high-calorie Democrat. Point of personal privilege is in Robert's Rules of Order. It just means I want to state my opinion or position. I just love how confused the fucking speaker guy sounded. Holy shit. Oh, and that reminds me, there's something else I wanted to show. Majority Leader Jason Osborne announces campaign for Speaker of the New Hampshire House. I always get his position confused. He says, I'm not running to be somebody, I'm running to do something. I'm running for Speaker to protect what we have built, to continue building on it, and to make sure New Hampshire remains the freest state in the country. And he has a little thingy here that says, Majority Leader Jason Osborne announces campaign for Speaker of the New Hampshire House, rolls out first 10 endorsements. House Majority Leader Jason Osborne today, this was June 23rd, as I said, I've had it open for a while, announced he's running to become the next Speaker of the New Hampshire House, pledging to grow the Republican majority and build on 6 years of conservative victories. The announcement comes on the heels of Speaker Sherman Packard's decision not to seek another term as Speaker when his current term ends. Speaker Packard had dedicated decades of service to the New Hampshire House and to our state, Osborne said. I'm grateful for his leadership, his steady hand, and his years of commitment to the institution. I look forward to continuing to work with him as Speaker and building on the foundation he helped strengthen. The campaign also announced its first 10 endorsers. Representative John Hunt, Representative Brian Labrie, Rep. Kristen Noble, Rep. Lisa Post, Rep. Dylan Dumont, Rep. Lisa Mauser, Rep. Sarah DeVito, Rep. Samuel Farrington, Rep. Mike Drago, and Rep. Janine Nodder. I recognize a handful of those names, at least. Osborne also announced the leadership team for his Speaker campaign. Committee Representative John Hunt, R. Ringe, Chair of the House Commerce Committee, will serve as Chair. Lisa Mauser, R. Goffstown, Vice Chair of the House Health, Human Services, and Elderly Affairs Committee, will serve as Vice Chair. And Brian Labrie will serve as Treasurer. Osborne said the next Speaker must be focused on both winning elections and delivering results. 6 years ago, voters gave Republicans the majority and asked us to protect what makes New Hampshire different, Osborne said. We cut taxes, expanded education freedom, defended the Second Amendment, and kept New Hampshire on the side of taxpayers and families. That work is not yet finished, and I intend to see it through. Osborne said his campaign for Speaker will begin where the majority is won, in the districts that will decide control of the House. I'm not waiting for November, Osborne said. I will spend the summer on the road with our candidates, helping them sharpen their message, knock doors, raise money, and win the arguments that matter. We're not running to maintain the status quo, we're running to grow our ranks. Once again, get involved locally. You have many people, especially in certain states like New Hampshire, who already have built infrastructure and want to make sure communists do not have any footholds. Jason will make an excellent speaker. You spoke to him and Keith about getting New Hampshire nuclear blasting. Hell fucking yeah, bro. Hell fucking yeah. And if you needed even more of a reason to want to vote for Mr. Osborne here, Unhinged liberal Karen has a meltdown over Jason Osborne. I want this dude as Speaker. This lady apparently has an unhinged rant. Let's see what she says. Unsurprisingly, Merrimack State Representative Janine Nodder is one of the first 10 representatives to endorse Jason Osborne as the next Speaker of the New Hampshire House. Osborne is a leader in the Free State Project, the group that has coordinated a takeover of our state government. Merrimack has constantly rejected the Free State agenda, and to have one of our own state reps support Osborne is a slap in the face and a huge betrayal to Merrimack. The crash out over Osborne wanting to run has been great. Multiple reps from Nashua and Salem have gone full tard-ree. I think it's really funny that the communists have completely subverted the Democratic Party, and now they're whining and crying that libertarians have figured out, hey, if we run as Republicans and we support fiscally responsible and socially responsible things, we can actually get wins instead of running on third party and splitting the vote. That's crazy. Nothing upsets a commie more than you realizing there's a path to win. Merrimack faces challenges involving public education, environmental protection, PFAS cleanup, infrastructure, and local services that critics believe require stronger state investment rather than continued reductions in government, which is what the Free Staters want, which is what most people should want. Encouraging more government has never worked out well for anyone anywhere, you fucking commie weirdo. By supporting Osborne, Nodder is signaling that loyalty to House Republican leadership and personal advancement in leadership outweighs representing constituents who oppose the Free State agenda. Well, I mean, the constituents that oppose the Free State will probably be dead in like 10 years. I haven't seen a single one under the age of like 60, man. Like, what are you talking about? That's right, the Free State agenda is more important to Nodder than the values of our town are. I think you must be mistaken on the values of the town here. And if the Merrimack town values are rooted in commie gobbledygook, then their opinions should not be taken seriously. Having Osborne as speaker would be disastrous for Merrimack and for the state of New Hampshire for the following reasons. Osborne is a leader in the Free State Project. Osborne has openly acknowledged moving to New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project and is widely viewed as one of its most influential elected officials. I moved here because New Hampshire is a bastion of freedom in comparison to the Marxist hellhole that my home state of Massachusetts has become. I also joined on the Free State Project, so I feel like this is a losing battle eventually, a dear Wendy woman. Merrimack is a little shit-lib yuppie. Oh my good lord. Aren't they like south of Manchester? How can you be that close to Manchester and not realize what the problems are? What the fuck, dude? Osborne has openly acknowledged moving to New Hampshire as a part of the Free State Project and is widely viewed as one of its most influential elected officials. The Free State goal is to dismantle public education and our state government and to push all former state government costs onto our property taxes. This lady's crazy. But also, if you have a town and you willingly give to the town instead of via property taxes, that would make a lot more sense than forcing everyone to pay, right? Osborne prioritizes ideology over consensus. As Majority Leader, Osborne has been a driving force behind legislation, expanding education freedom accounts, reducing regulations, expanding gun rights, restricting abortion access, and limiting government authority. Stop! I already like him! You don't have to sell him to me! What? This lady thought that was a list of things people would be against? What the fuck is wrong with you? No wonder it's called a meltdown. What a fucking retard. For all their talk about free state, these guys sure want to control pretty much every aspect of your life. Is she a fucking retard? He wants to expand education freedom, which means gives you more choice, gives you more freedom in where your children go to school and what they learn. Reducing regulations, which means reducing the amount the government meddles in your day-to-day life. Expanding gun rights, that's also good. That's also more freedom. Restricting abortion access, I guess you could make a reasoning that that's restricting your freedoms to choose, but sometimes you have to prevent people from destroying themselves. As someone who is like the classical pro-choice option, things have gone too far where people are now pro-abortion, and that's fucked up. Limiting government authority is quite literally the definition of not wanting to control every aspect of your life. That is the opposite of what you are trying to claim that it is, you funky ass freak. Jason has no problem with lying to the public in order to get his agenda passed. He cannot be trusted by anyone. The absolute fucking audacity of this retarded woman to say that after what she just said. It's amazing that any of these people were good enough liars to fool voters in the first place. Like, that's fucking wild, dude. At the 2026 Liberty Forum, Osborne advised activists, sometimes you have to go on the 6 o'clock news and have to say with a straight face something that you don't actually believe. Osborne has declared a mythical war against anyone who defies his decrees. Following the assassination of political figure Charlie Kirk, Osborne posted a rallying cry on Twitter/X, declaring to his 15-year-old son that he and all young men in America had been conscripted to war to save the Republic. I mean, yeah, you could accuse him of using hyperbole, but he's not wrong. He's absolutely not fucking wrong. And also, I would like to see the context of this quote that you're pulling from him, because depending on the context, I would potentially agree. Sometimes you have to obfuscate what you believe so you're not in the middle of running defense 24/7 from crazy communists who want to fucking kill you. Osborne also endorses punishing Republicans in his caucus who don't vote his way. Good! There are so many do-nothing Republicans and so many Republicans who are merely Democrats who ran on a Republican seat. They're worthless. They deserve to be chided. Many GOP reps have been removed from committees and leadership for daring to vote with the Democrats on sensible legislation. Stop! Stop! You're getting me to like this man too much! Stop it! You just hire this woman to be like his campaign marketing, because she's doing a very good job. At one point, a member of his group even suggested slashing the tires of GOP reps who didn't vote with the Free Staters. Was this possibly over the income tax thing? Was this possibly over income taxes because we wanted to have an amendment to make sure that income taxes would never be proposed in New Hampshire? And some of the Republicans voted with the Democrats to ensure that we can't have that as an amendment. I mean, also, you know, it reminds me of like what the Second Amendment is for. And, you know, we're allowed to talk about hunting and having fun at the range, but you know, there's that other more prominent reason the Second Amendment exists that we're never allowed to acknowledge, lest we be black bagged and taken away. He stands by what he believes and doesn't abide rhinos. He's awful. Damn, I love this guy. So if you want someone who's actually gonna get things done and is going to be a good Speaker of the House, hey, Jason Osborne sounds like thumbs up to me.